Imagine the unimaginable. Sukuna, the undisputed king of curses, seizing permanent control over Yuji Itadori's body. In today's special what-if scenario from Jujutsu Kaisen, we're diving into a world where Yuji is no longer the hero we know, but the ultimate vessel for Sukuna's terrifying power. This video will explore the harrowing consequences of this takeover for the Jujutsu world, the intense struggles between Yuji's fading consciousness and Sukuna's dark ambitions, and how other key characters react to this unprecedented threat. We're unpacking how this twist could redefine friendships, rivalries, and the very nature of power within the series. Expect detailed analyses and theory crafting that could change how you see Jujutsu Kaisen forever. And a fair warning, there are heavy spoilers ahead as we delve deep into manga territory, exploring concepts and future possibilities that are both thrilling and chilling. Imagine a world where Sukuna, the king of curses, manages to take over Yuji Itadori's body permanently. How does he do it? It all begins with the intricacies of their binding vow, which says that Sukuna can assume control under specific conditions, while not being able to harm anyone directly. According to this vow, when Sukuna says enchain, he will gain control over Yuji's body for some time, and Yuji will forget he even made the vow. During this time, Sukuna cannot hurt anyone, at least directly. However, Yuji, forgetting to include himself under this vow's protection, allowed Sukuna to approach taking over using cunning and psychological manipulation rather than direct action. Sukuna, ever the strategist, might exploit loopholes within the vow instead of breaking it outright. Breaking a binding vow is a very risky move that could lead to death, or worse, as violating such a pact in the Jujutsu world is feared even by the most nefarious sorcerers. One tactic could involve driving Yuji to despair by orchestrating the downfall of those close to him. Picture this. Key allies that Yuji holds very dear like Megumi, Nobara, and Nanami suffer devastating deaths, or worse, under circumstances Sukuna allows but doesn't directly influence. The psychological toll on Yuji, seeing his friends hurt or lost while he remains helpless, could weaken his will significantly. This despair might lead Yuji to a breaking point, making him vulnerable to Sukuna's complete takeover without the cursed spirit having to directly harm him. The aftermath of such a takeover would be dire. With Sukuna in full control of Yuji's powerful vessel, his reign could usher in unprecedented chaos. Sukuna's ambitions are not just about destruction. They may well involve reshaping the Jujutsu world to reflect his ancient, merciless ideologies. This shift would threaten the very foundations of Jujutsu society, altering the balance of power and potentially leading to an era where curses hold dominion over sorcerers. Internally, Yuji's struggle would not cease. His consciousness, presented by innate kindness and a strong moral compass, would clash horrifically with Sukuna's malevolent intent. Imagine Yuji trapped within his own body, forced to witness and feel the horrors enacted by Sukuna using his hands. This internal conflict could be one of the important plot lines, with Yuji grappling with guilt, horror, and the desperate search for redemption. Perhaps there could be moments where Yuji's spirit attempts to regain control, seeking ways to either redeem himself or end his existence if that's what it takes to stop Sukuna's rampage. If Sukuna were to take permanent control over Yuji's body, the Jujutsu world as we know it would face a catastrophic upheaval. With Yuji's immense physical capabilities and cursed energy now wielded by Sukuna, this new entity could potentially dismantle the existing Jujutsu hierarchy and establish a reign characterized by chaos and destruction. Sukuna, known for his ruthless and ancient desires, could initiate a campaign to overthrow traditional power structures, dramatically altering the geopolitical landscape of the Jujutsu world. Sorcerers might find themselves forced into constant battles or hiding, struggling to protect humanity against a surge of curses, some possibly summoned or even created by Sukuna himself. The struggle between Sukuna's overwhelming malevolence and Yuji's lingering consciousness would add a much-needed layer of internal conflict. Yuji's friends, who have deeply bonded with him, would be particularly tormented. They'd face the heart-wrenching reality that their friend's body is the vessel for the most formidable curse known, navigating a storm of emotions from denial to a possibly resolved determination to save, or if necessary, stop Yuji to prevent global devastation. Characters such as Gojo, Maki, and Dodo would be compelled to enhance their powers and devise new strategies to combat Sukuna, who intimately knows their tactics. The series would likely shift focus towards the sorcerer's frantic efforts to sever Sukuna from Yuji, exploring themes of sacrifice, the nature of evil, and redemption. Now, we'd also like to talk about one exciting aspect of this interesting scenario. Would the battle between Gojo and Sukuna be different if Sukuna does not have Megami's body and lacks Ten Shadows technique that he had in the original storyline? Envisioning a world where Sukuna has permanently taken over Yuji's body, one of the most anticipated confrontations would undoubtedly be between Sukuna and Satoru Gojo. This hypothetical battle would be a titanic clash of Jujutsu's two mightiest forces, with each combatant wielding supremely powerful techniques and strategic minds. The conflict might commence with Gojo deploying his signature Hollow Purple, a devastating attack, combining the forces of his limitless curse techniques. Even without Megami's Ten Shadows technique at his disposal, Sukuna, now in Yuji's body, withstands this initial onslaught, setting the stage for an epic melee. Sukuna's lack of strategic curse techniques like the Ten Shadows limits his direct assault options due to Gojo's Infinity technique, which nullifies attacks by manipulating space. As the battle escalates, both combatants will probably deploy their domain expansions. Sukuna's domain, unlike Gojo's, imposes no spatial constraints, allowing his attacks to reach far and wide. This tactical advantage means Sukuna could theoretically assault the exterior of Gojo's domain. In response, Gojo, a master of reversed curse techniques, manages to hold his ground against Sukuna's aggressive domain attacks. In a brilliant tactical maneuver, Sukuna might adjust the conditions of this domain through a binding vow, enhancing its external offensive capabilities at the cost of the sure hit effect. This allows him to briefly outmatch Gojo's domain, leading to a fierce exchange where both try to dominate the spatial battlefield. Gojo's strategy involves moving out of Sukuna's domain's reach. Sukuna keeps getting closer to him as he himself is the center of Malevolent Shrine. As the duel reaches its climax, Gojo and Sukuna might find their domains negated through a mutual, overpowering clash, resetting their engagement. In this brief window, Gojo might attempt to disrupt Sukuna's control, leveraging his unlimited void to disorient Sukuna. However, Sukuna reveals a transformation into a more formidable form, reminiscent of his mythic, multi-limbed past incarnations, momentarily tipping the scales back in his favor. Despite this, the prolonged combat would likely lean towards Gojo as the victor. Sukuna's lack of the Ten Shadows technique means he misses a critical element to effectively bypass Gojo's infinity. Without Mahoraga, like in the original story, Sukuna will be unable to learn to counter Gojo's overpowered techniques. The prolonged battle would likely favor Gojo. Without the critical moves such as the slash to cut the world, Sukuna lacks a reliable method to bypass Gojo's defenses. The battle could extend with Sukuna possibly unveiling other hidden abilities, yet without a reliable method to penetrate Gojo's defenses, these efforts might only delay the inevitable. Gojo's mastery over cursed energy, defensive strategies, and his adaptability in combat underline his superiority in this duel. Gojo's superior tactical adaptability, coupled with his mastery over cursed energy and defensive techniques, positions him as the likely victor in this epic duel, potentially at the cost of Yuji's life, given the severe toll of the battle waged within his body. In this exploration, we've delved into the chilling possibility of Sukuna permanently overtaking Yuji Itadori's body, transforming him from a heroic figure into a vessel for unprecedented evil. We examined how this takeover would occur, the catastrophic upheaval it would bring to the Jujutsu world, and the intense internal struggle between Yuji's dwindling human essence and Sukuna's malevolent spirit. The narrative would shift drastically, redefining relationships and strategies within the series as friends and foes alike grapple with this new reality. As we imagine Sukuna unleashing chaos, remember, this twist could turn the tide of Jujutsu Kaisen in ways we've never seen before. So what happens next in this altered reality? Only time will tell.